Facebook. It's your friendly nosy neighbor, Jessica Carden, and we're in a little bit different position. Welcome to my home. We're excited because we got so much action on the Splash Dog Spa, self-serve dog spa, which was awesome. We thought, you know what? Idaho loves their dogs. They love them and take care of them. But you know what's hard is taking the care of keeping your dogs clean. So we've got a self-serve dog wash. But if you don't want to go and wash the dog yourself, then what's the other option? You take it to a groomer, right? Well, that takes time. You got to make the efforts. Oh, wait. By the way, I got so excited. If you love local businesses like we love local businesses, please like and follow our page. And if you love real estate, which is what we do for a living, please head over to the Murdock Manwaring Company page and like and follow there. The market is hot. We'd love to help you sell a home. Okay, now back to business. What if you don't want to go and take your dog or the hassle of setting up the appointment and doing all of those things? Wouldn't it be great if someone came to your house? Well, we thought, you know what? It would be awesome if someone would just come to my house and groom my dog. Oh, who could that be, Bruce? Who is that? Should we check and see who's at the door?
Hi, buddy.
Well, look what we have here. It is Fluff Ball House Call. Come on in. So this is Kirsi. Introduce yourself, Kirsi. Tell us who you are.
I am Kirsi Ball. I'm the owner and groomer of Fluff Ball House Call. I've been doing it for a little while now, and I'm excited to show you guys a little bit more about it.
Okay, so all right, Bruce, back up. So let's talk about what you do. So what is Fluff Ball House Call? Are you bringing a van to my house? What's happening?
So House Call is actually an in-home dog grooming service. It's very luxury because you get to be there, you get to be involved if you want to be, and your dog gets to be comfortable in their own space. So I bring all of my equipment to you, and as you can see down here, I bring actually it's a shower curtain that I set on the floor to keep all the hair cleaned up, and all the hair just comes off the table, and I just wrap it up and take it all with me, so you don't have to worry about the mess.
Oh, that is fantastic. And so you come here, you set up, and we could be making dinner, and this could be getting done.
Yeah, I actually have quite a few families that'll put me in a bathroom or they'll put me in the kitchen. They're still running around the house with their kids, and it's like I'm not even there. But then when I come out, their dog is done, and they're like, "Oh, you're so cute! I forgot the groomer was here."
Ah, that's fantastic. So who is your client? Is this, is it big dogs, little dogs? Is there what's the criteria to have this done?
So I actually work with all breeds. My weight limit is up to 80 pounds. After that, it starts to get a little crazy because they're kind of heavy. So getting them into the tub, or I do outside grooming as well during summertime. So if you've got a tub or hose or some way for me to bathe outside, I can do that outside as well. But like I said, my weight limit is 80 pounds. Otherwise, I work with all dogs, all breeds, doesn't matter.
Can you do multiple dogs in one household?
I do, actually. I've got a client in St. Anthony that he has 5 dogs, all different breeds, and I work up there with his 5.
That's really convenient. Because getting 5 dogs, and number one, that's expensive. So let's talk about the next thing. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about if they want to do this, how do they get a hold of you and schedule an appointment?
So my 2 biggest ways for people to contact me is my Facebook page, Fluff Ball House Call, and my phone number. My phone number is 208-881-3098. You can call or text me anytime. You can leave me a voicemail, and I will get back to you typically within 48 hours.
So how long is it that it takes, like if I need my dog groomed, what's generally your turnaround before you can come?
I'm usually about 2 weeks out. Come holidays, I'm about a month to a month and a half out. Obviously, Christmas and New Year's. But typically it is about 2 to 3 weeks, and you can get a hold of me. Perfect.
So what about the time frame? Are you mainly in the evenings? Are you all the time? Weekends? How does it work?
Weekends, all day, every day. My typical appointment times are 9, 11:30, 2 o'clock, and 4:30, and that's usually Monday through Friday. I do work some weekends as well. It just kind of depends on the need, how many people want me to come out and what time.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so now tell us, how much is the cost of this? So we're going to talk about Bruce.
Okay.
Because Bruce is going to be the star of the show today. Bruce. Yeah, you are. You're going to be the star of the show today. I know, it's your big debut. So how much are we talking this is going to cost?
Okay, so we'll start with this because this is the biggest question. I do service between Island Park and Shelley, so I have a travel and convenience fee that runs between $10 and $15. Just depending on your location is going to depend on how much that travel fee is. For this location, because we're in Ammon, you're going to be looking at a $10 travel fee. And then the groom charge will depend on what all you're wanting done. So let's just say, for example, you're wanting a haircut. So that includes the bath, brush, nails trimmed, ears cleaned, anal glands expressed, and the hair trim. So doing like a full body clip, you're going to be looking at about $35 for him, for his size.
That is very reasonable.
Yeah.
Very reasonable.
It's kind of nice. Because I can travel around and I don't necessarily have the overhead of the salons, I don't have to charge the prices. So I can keep it within range for people to have me come out, but it pays my bills and it's something I enjoy doing, so I don't have to charge crazy prices.
So you come in the house. Why not a van? Because I've seen that before, right? Pull up in a van, bring your dog out to the van, toss him in, and he gets powdered and puffed, and out he goes.
And it's definitely a wonderful service. There's actually a couple of mobile groomers here in Idaho Falls. But one thing that I like about doing house call is I get to come in and build a relationship with the dog and build a relationship with the owner. And it's a lot more close quarters in the fact that you get to build those relationships versus going outside and it's still that salon feel. And actually it's a little bit smaller than a normal size salon. So that's just kind of my preference. I'm not a fan of like the small areas, but it's a lot more comfortable for me to come in and you get to build these friendships with the clients and you get closer with the dogs. And I actually pup sit for a couple of my clients just because I love their dogs so much and I get to. So it's nice to be able to build that relationship.
So we have to remember this is Fluff Ball House Call, not mobile dog grooming.
Yes, it's in-home service.
I love that. All right, should we kind of see how this works?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's see. Bruce, this is your big debut. You ready to go? Okay, hop up here.
Come here, bud. Hello. Hello. You ready to go? Come here.
He's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Hello, handsome boy. Alrighty. So we'll get him up on the table, and I do have all my equipment right here. I bring all of my equipment with me in an actual suitcase, so it's kind of funny watching me unload. A lot of my clients are like, what are you doing? So I have my suitcase and all of my grooming supplies. I've got my brushes, my clippers, my trimmers, everything, nail trimmers,
what
all of
about
it.
washing him? How does that work? What do you do in that? So you said outside, but otherwise you just go to the tub?
Yeah, the tub, or I have a couple of clients that will have me do it on a kitchen sink or in a laundry sink. So really just wherever the client wants me to go, but a lot of my clients have me do it in the bathtub, and that's kind of a nice space for me because I can close the door and it can just be me and the dog for a minute. And especially with the loud sound of the dryer, a lot of dogs are like, I don't really like that sound.
Gotcha.
But when it's just us in a smaller space and they can sit in my lap, I do this sometimes. I'll have dogs sit in my lap or climb up on my shoulder and I'll dry them that way. And they're just more comfortable. They get to be closer.
So in that, do you need anything special? If you're going to wash them there, do we need to have anything? Do we have to have a hose or a nozzle or a...
No, you don't need to. It's definitely nice to have the nozzle because I can bring it down, but I actually have a water bottle that I bring and I'll get them all wet and I can mix my shampoos in there too. So I have some shampoos that I use that are like direct to the coat, or I can dilute them. So if they're direct to the coat, I'll just bring a little like 2-ounce sample bottle and I'll be able to clean up the dog with that, and I can just rinse them off the bottle, or if you do have a sprayer, I can rinse them off that way. But I bring all other equipment with me. Bring shampoos, conditioner if requested. I have towels, I have my force dryer, I have drain covers so no hair's going down your drain, because I know that's a concern for a lot of owners.
Yeah.
So
makes sense. So it's almost like you get that full salon experience, because sometimes that's the idea, is you take them there because then everything's there and it's just, they're getting it all, and you get to walk away and it's like you haven't been here.
Yeah, and the nice thing is because I am cleaning up the whole area, so if there is hair going around, I will clean up everything. I have one client that she is actually a full blowout, and it's a bigger dog, so there's hair all over the bathroom by the time I'm done. And the first time I was there, the owner comes in and she's like, oh my gosh, my house is a mess. Well, then she gives me the vacuum, she gives me the broom, and a garbage bag, and she comes in about 20 minutes later, and she's like, where did all of the hair go? And I have a husky at home. I know how it is. I've totally done blowouts in my own bathroom. I want to make sure that your bathroom is clean, that there is no hair left over. You won't find it.
That's fantastic. So with this, so Bruce is up here. He always gets a little nervous getting groomed. So in this idea, does this help being in-house?
It does. I feel that a lot of the dogs are more,
I know.
A lot of the dogs are more comfortable, and this is where it's kind of nice for the owners to come up if they choose to, or if the dog is comfortable with it. The owners can come be involved and be like, oh, it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
And they can play with their dog while I'm doing what I'm doing, and a lot of owners think that it's distracting. Honestly, I can totally tune you out and continue working on the dog, because when I'm here, your dog is 100% my focus.
So we talked about your services. So you talked about all the services. Anything else that you do?
I do actually have a couple of add-on packages as well. I've got like a de-shed package, a rejuvenate package. The chill out package is actually my favorite, and that one's nice for dogs that have some anxiety. I also have the de-skunk package, or my bug out package. You know, they kind of sound exactly what they are.
Really?
De-shed, bug out. So If your dog has fleas, I've got a package for that. The de-shed just gets out all the undercoat.
Wow.
The de-skunk, I have a lot of dogs up towards where I live that get skunk come summertime, so that's a popular one during the summer. My other two that are actually some of my favorites is my Rejuvenate Package and my Chill Out Package. So the Rejuvenate Package will help dogs with dry skin or rashes, issues with their skin. It does exactly what it sounds like. It refreshes the coat, it pulls out all those dead hair follicles and kind of opens up the skin so that it can heal, so that it can have a more healthy base to the coat. If you're feeling coat issues, a lot of the times that comes from the skin, that your dog doesn't necessarily have the healthiest skin. So that's what the Rejuvenate Package does. As for the Chill Out Package, it's a formulated shampoo that will help calm your dog. It is formulating shampoo that has gosh, I gotta think about it now. It's got a whole bunch of different essential oils.
Soothing things.
And I actually have used that on my own personal dog because it is so calming and it smells amazing by the end of it. But they're just calm and relaxed, and it helps with the grooming process. And each one of these add-on packages is an additional $10, so you're paying for the extra service, and they all come with the conditioner as well.
Oh, very nice.
So it makes it worth it.
So on this, as we come in, you're going to clip the dogs, you're going to do the wash. Do you do all the washing and the blowout in the bathroom?
Yes.
Or do you do a blowout out here?
I do the blowout in the bathroom. Some dogs I'll do it up on the table. It just kind of depends on their coat. So if they've got a shorter coat, I know there's not going to be hair everywhere, then I'll do it on the table. Most of the time, I do it in the bathroom, though, just to kind of keep it all contained.
Fantastic. Well, that's fantastic. So, okay, so we've talked about it, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've missed, because I love the idea of him getting groomed at the house. And it's so nice and so convenient. What did I miss?
Well, what I can do is I can take you through, like, the come in the door process. We'll put him down, and I'll show you a little bit about what I do and kind of talk about the steps.
Okay.
Here you go, bud. All right. So this is my schedule book, and literally my entire life is in here. It's super funny. But I have organized all of my pages to where I can schedule each one of my appointments, and it's nice because I have the times on this. I'll show you one of my empty pages. So I have the date, the month, all of the times for the appointments, any remarks that I need. I can put down address, phone number, certain notes about the dogs, pricing, and everything is over here. So I can keep all of that in one place. And every time I schedule or reschedule your dog, the notes go in here immediately so that I know every single appointment that I have.
Oh, that's fantastic. Can they pay by credit card? This way? Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I accept Facebook Pay. So my forms of payment, I take cash, check, and Facebook Pay. And it's kind of easy because it's like Venmo or PayPal, but it's just straight through Facebook, and it's a little faster.
Oh, I love that.
I know, I do too. It's been kind of fun. So usually what I'll do when I first come in is I'll pull out my client card. So what this is my client information card. It has information for the owner, your phone number, address, so that if I need to find the appointment, obviously I'm coming to your house, this is where I'm going to look. It also has information about your dog, such as name, breed, size, male or female, if they're spayed or neutered, which is something that's nice to know. I've actually had a couple of intact females that I've gone in to groom, and it's like, oh, you're in heat. So it's kind of nice to prepare for that and kind of know what you're setting up for. I do also have a side over here for behavioral and medical. That is something that groomers like to know, is any behavioral issues with your dog, whether it's reactive or aggressive. We want to know how your dog's going to act, whether it's with people or with sounds. They see a cat, they see a squirrel out the window, if they're going to start freaking out and jump off the table or jump out. So we want to know those things. As for medical, if there's anything that we also want to know about that, so that it's something we can watch for. A lot of times I get older dogs that have like warts, and so we want to make sure that we're watching those areas when we're kind of doing haircuts.
Do they have to have any kind of their shots? Do they have to prove any shots or anything like that?
I actually have that right down here. The only vaccination that I ask for is the rabies, and because it is required in the state, it's kind of simple because you have to get it done anyways. But that's the only vaccination I require.
Gotcha.
So then on the back, this is the most important part of this card. This is my contract. So you can read through this and see what my policies are. The most important thing is with my appointments, because I am traveling to the houses, I need a 48-hour notice if there's a cancellation or reschedule for an appointment. That's all I ask. Otherwise, I do have a $25 late cancellation fee that I charge. So
makes sense.
It kind of helps me keep track of appointments and make sure that I'm able to fill the appointments if somebody cancels.
That makes sense.
That's the biggest deal, because I do stay fairly busy. So.
That's awesome.
So I'll have owners fill this out, and then after the groom, this is my note card. I can write down the date, all of my groom notes, the travel fee that I charge for the location, because like I said, it's different for each household depending on where they're at.
Right.
The groom note, and then what shampoo or conditioner that I'm using. The reason I write down shampoo or conditioner that's being used is if for any reason your dog is having an allergic reaction, I want to know exactly what went on your dog. I don't use perfumes or sprays unless it is like a detangle spray, a finishing spray, but it's through the same exact company that I use my shampoos through. So again, everything through, it's actually Show Season is the shampoo and conditioners that I use. They release every bit of information that goes into their shampoos.
That's
so
awesome.
I can have a full ingredient list. And my distributor, she's actually through Idaho. I can get all that information from her within about a day.
Wow.
So if for any reason your dog has an allergic reaction, I can find out what's going on.
That's awesome.
So
That's very organized.
I keep track of everything, and I have probably about 200 client cards at home. My sister gets irritated because she helps me fill them out.
How often should you come?
It depends
How
on
often
the
can
breed.
you get your dogs washed?
You can actually do it almost every week. The big thing is going to be the quality of shampoo and that you're using, and you are going to want to use a conditioner. If you're using a lesser quality shampoo and conditioner, then you're just going to be putting more into your dog that needs to be going. Just like, washing our own hair. Some women wash their hair once a week, some wash it every day. It's really just going to depend on what you're putting on your dog's coat.
Makes sense. What about the dog's nails? So that's a big thing with, nails. That's the one thing, keeping on top of trimming the nails. So I know there's different ways to do it.
Yes.
What do you do for the trimming of the nails?
So I clip and I Dremel. Dremeling is just something that you have to ask for. Is additional charge is $3 more to get your dog's nails dremeled. But it's just something that I do to get a better edge around the nails. It makes them softer, makes the nails just a little bit shorter without the risk of clipping. But some dogs don't really like the sound of the Dremel, so clipping is what you got to do. I actually have 3 different sizes of nail trimmers. It's really going to depend on the size of the dog. But what's nice is that my smaller nail trimmers, they're for small dogs about his size. If a large dog doesn't necessarily like the sound, I can take it and edge off the pieces with my smaller trimmer. So it's definitely a skill to it. You got to figure out what the dog is okay with. My biggest issue that I have with dogs is nails. That's the biggest risk with grooming is a dog that just doesn't like their feet touched is what I've noticed. So.
Which is funny because he's usually very good, but he does. It's the nail thing. He does not like it. And he doesn't like it. Doesn't like his feet touched.
And my husky's the same way. When I first had adopted her, she came in and she had some issues that needed trained out. So we worked with her for quite a while, and still the only thing to this day that she just does not like is messing with her feet. You can play with them as much as you want, but as soon as you go to clip the nails, she loses it. So
Bruce does not like that.
No, you don't like the nail trim. Hi, buddy.
He's like, I'm not. Wait a minute. You put me on that tall table, and I know what happens up there.
So I do actually have a lower table that I use for my larger dogs. And every once in a while, I have a couple of dogs that are smaller that are just not a fan of heights, and I'll put them down on that lower table. One of the things that I've done with House Call that I haven't ever been able to do in a salon is sit down on the floor with a dog and have the table just above my legs and groom them there. For larger dogs, it's a little bit harder because they stand a little taller than I do, but I can still put down like a little stool and sit on that. But I've been able to get down on the floor with those dogs that are just scared of heights and just sit there and get them all done and let them off the table. And I don't necessarily use a grooming arm. I know that's something a lot of groomers that they do use it.
Right.
It's a safety thing. But as you've seen with any part of grooming, a lot of it involves training. And one of my biggest things when I bring my dogs up on my table is training them to stay in this space. And most of them do. I do have a grooming arm that I bring for my clients that I know just will not stay on the table. So I have it, but it's something that I like to train away from.
Makes sense.
A lot of the dogs are just more comfortable. That's one thing that I've noticed. In one of the salons that I worked at, there was a dog that she would just freak out and thrash anytime you put a lead on her. It didn't matter how you did it. But as soon as you took it off, she would walk around the table and knew, like, these are the boundaries. And she would sit there and let you do a great groom. And when I started doing this, I decided, let's try this, because I know I would be kind of scared if I was tethered to something and couldn't get away. So I've noticed that a lot of my dogs feel more comfortable just being able to roam around, and they sit here and understand their space. And in some of the smaller spaces, like the kitchen and the bathroom, I could put it up against the wall so there's not as much open area for the getaway. But once you get up to the table, you've got all of your equipment. I usually set it up on the counter behind me, or I've got a million pockets over here. So I'll stick all of my stuff in my pockets and I'll have it ready to go so that I can always have a hand on the dog. No matter what I'm going for, I always have a hand on him.
Yeah.
So
makes sense. How did you start on all of this?
Well, I was fascinated with the idea of doing house calls. So I had researched it a little bit, noticed that other groomers were having success with it, and there weren't any house call groomers around this area anywhere close. I didn't know there's a couple in Boise, there's a couple out towards Pocatello, but kind of spread out, not necessarily in town. And I was like, I never heard of this. I didn't realize this was something you could do, and I just kept thinking, I don't really have the money right now to go open up a salon. I don't have all the clientele to keep me open, and I was like, I have clients that want me to come out to their house. So I started doing it, started going out to the houses, and it just kind of built from there. I got a better table, I got better equipment, I got a force dryer, which isn't something that I had in the beginning, and it's just building. And by the time that I had the growing clientele and more interest in my services, I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So I jumped into it, and I started out doing just part-time, kind of doing the clients that wanted me to keep coming out, but eventually they started to pass my name on, and one person would talk to another, and I was like, I don't have the time for this because I'm working a part-time job. So I had to leave that, started doing this full-time, and I just kind of jumped in head first.
Wow.
All right, I guess we're going to do it.
It's time. Well, I mean, this is this really is an amazing concept, because I would say, should I say most people in Idaho have dogs? I mean, we are an animal loving and a dog loving community.
Yeah.
But that is the worst part, is getting the dog to the groomer, or you've got to do it yourself. And then you're like, oh, I got to wash the dog today. All right, gear up in the rubber suits, or the dogs hate it because it's cold, the cold water outside. And so, yeah, I would always love to take them to the groomer, but then that is a very inconvenient thing too at the same time. And so this is an awesome service. Service.
And there's definitely convenience to being in a salon, to the mobile grooming and house call grooming, and it's really just going to depend on what your lifestyle is like and what you choose is going to be better for you. A lot of, like I said, the families will have me come out because they can let their kids play around. They put me in a room and I just get it all done, and then I let the dog out and they're like, I forgot the groomer was here. Oh, that's where the dog went. And it's so funny. It happens all the time. I have another client in Rexburg that every time I'm there, she forgets that I'm there. And she's like, oh, the dog just came out of nowhere and he got a haircut. And she comes out and she's like, I forgot you were here.
That's awesome.
So it's fun. It's definitely a convenience, and it's very different than a lot of the other grooming services. You get to see it. You get to learn the process. And I have another client that will sit there and she'll ask me all about how I groom the dogs, how I learned how to do it, what she can be doing at home. And she's actually got a poodle mix. So those are ones that they're coming out a lot more. You're starting to see a lot more of the poodle mixes.
The
large
doodles.
and small, definitely.
Yes.
And one issue that I've seen with a lot of owners is they don't necessarily know how to brush their dog with the correct tools. They're like, oh yeah, I'm brushing my dog every day. But certain tools will have a different effect. So a lot of my clients are starting to learn, oh, I need this brush, or I need to do these steps to make sure my dog is getting brushed properly. So it's a lot of education, not only for the owners, but for me when I come into it. I get to learn about their dog, I get to learn about their lifestyle, and we get to work together to make sure that their dog has the healthiest life.
It's awesome.
I love it. It's a good time.
It's fantastic. All right, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I mean, if you guys want to see kind of some of the equipment that I have that I bring
it
in
up
with
here.
me.
Let's see.
So this is my force dryer. I've got a heat setting, and it has different range of power, so the airflow that comes through it. For a lot of the smaller dogs, they don't necessarily like the sound of it. So if you turn off the heat and lower the power, it's not going to have as much pressure to it, and it's not going to be as loud. So you can also take off the nozzle. Again, it's not going to have as much pressure, so it's not the best for getting a complete dry in a faster time, but it still will do it. You just got to make sure that the dog is comfortable, and that's one of the biggest things. I make sure that I have enough time between appointments to make sure that the dog is comfortable and I can get it done well.
Perfect.
So
love that, because that's the one biggest thing. I hate that he's not. If I give him a bath, he's not dry.
Yeah.
And so it's towels, or it's and they're shaking it out, and that's always terrible.
Because I am house call, I don't have the kennels and the kennel dryers that some people will need. So if you know that your dog needs a kennel dryer, a mobile or a storefront groomer is probably going to be the best, again, for your lifestyle. But if you're training your dog with grooming, or you know that your dog does really well, this is awesome for a lot of owners and their dogs.
I love that.
So
it's awesome.
And like I said, I bring towels and everything with me. So I have clean towels every single day for however many dogs that I'm doing. I bring them all in my car, and then they get washed as soon as I get home. Like I said, it's a blender bottle. I actually left it at a client's house one day, and she's like, are you drinking out of that? No. So I can dilute my shampoos in this and pour that over the dog and make sure that they're getting clean with a diluted shampoo, or I can just put the water in there and rinse them off, do the straight to skin shampoos, and then rinse them off again with this. So if you ever find a blender bottle, that's what I'm doing with it.
I gotcha.
And then this
is your caboodle.
This is my magic box. Everybody laughs at all the stuff I have in here. I have a hoard of grooming stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, you can come up and look at this. So I have all of my shears in here. I've got all of my clippers, my Dremel. I do have styptic powder, eye wash. I have ear cleaners down here that I bring as well. These I usually keep over
For like the white dogs that get the...
that's what the eye cleaner is for. So I have this, and I do in combination with a blueberry facial shampoo. So I have all of the things. So all of these additional services, like the nail filing, the blueberry shampoo, you can find on my Facebook page. I do have all of my services and add-on packages listed there. And they do explain kind of what the benefit is of each package and service. So you guys can go look on my Facebook page. Like I said, it's Fluff Ball House Call. I do also have a website. It's fluffballhousecall.com. Yep, that's pretty simple.
How was that URL not taken?
Right? I know.
That's awesome.
It's funny when people realize that my business name is a play off of my actual name. Yeah, they're like, "What's your name?" I say Kirsi Ball, and they're like Fluff Ball?
Like Fluff Ball?
Fluff Ball. It's really funny.
Very good. It's really
and my
good.
cat's name is Fluff, so it's just all a major pun.
It's all mixing all around.
It's just a pun.
Well, Kirsi, this is amazing. I mean, it's amazing what you do and to come in. This is such a great convenience. It is such a great process. Man, you guys, this would be probably something you ought to try. And like she said, she's a couple weeks out, so it'd probably be a good idea to give her a call and get on the schedule, get your dogs taken care of, and you might find out that this is the best thing you ever did. It's awesome. All right, give them your number one more time, and where they come get your contact information.
All right, so you can find me on Facebook at Fluff Ball House Call, or you can contact me via text, call. You can leave a voicemail at 208-881-3098.
That's awesome. All right, you guys.
Okay.
Give Kirsi a call and get your dogs groomed up. Look, he's even standing. This is the closest he's stood to a table ever. Usually he runs away, knowing that his nails might get clipped. All right, come take a look. You guys, awesome. She's great. This is a great service. Again, Fluff Ball House Call here in Southeast Idaho. Give him a call. All right, this has been Jessica Carden, your nosy neighbor, keeping you in the know.
The Knowsy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
The Knowsy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
The Knowsy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
Knowsy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
Knowsy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
So the Knowsy Neighbors keeping you in the know.
The Knowsy Neighbors are going to keep you in the know.